Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to this RGL.gg Season 7 Week 3 matchup on Swiftwater. We got Kids Next Door coming in against Memento Mori, some of the top hitters from a long time coming. Both long-term teams looking to a big match tonight because this is going to be really important when it comes to the playoffs in seeding. I am Sigifu, joined out here with Zeg to my side and Dolphin behind the scenes. How you doing out here, Zeg?
I'm doing good. Like you said, we got a great matchup here today. K&D versus MM, a couple longtime Highlander names, although with a few interesting twists that have happened in recent times that we'll talk about when we run down the rosters. But coming into this match, it will be a Swiftwater K&D with a 2-0 start, MM 1-1. So if MM want to avoid falling to that 1-2 record, they're going to have to come up big against the favorites in K&D, who are, like we mentioned, definitely the strongest team we've seen so far.
Yeah, Memento Mori had that loss against Cuties on Vigil in week 1, which was just an absolute heartbreak. They were looking to be, was like definitely one of those teams that we thought was a top 3 team. And I still think obviously they're going to probably make playoffs, but it's really kind of a question of like, are they going to make third? Are they going to make fourth? And this is going to be a really big, important match, especially because, when it comes to playoffs inside of in the league structure of RGL, it's all about rounds one. It's not just about winning the game. It's not about losing the game. It's about how well you can perform in every single round. And so even if they can't beat K&D, taking off a single round here could be absolutely critical when it comes to the end of the season.
Yep, and in terms of record, you mentioned we saw QD take down MM in week 1. If MM can take this upset win off K&D, then it's very possible that we have a rock paper scissors situation in the top 3 going into the postseason, which would shake things up a lot, make things very interesting. But K&D, they're going to want to stay undefeated and keep up that streak, try and get that first seed guaranteed for them. We are going to be having a lot of players in the server so far, so we can go and introduce the rosters. With K&D, we have Syath Scout, Chad on Soldier, Zukima on Pyro, Jarrett on Demo, Kresnik on Heavy, Scratchy on NG, Rogue on Medic, Boar on Sniper, and Demento on Spy.
In Memento Mori, we got Triple on Scout, ODB on Soldier, Supreme Toad on Pyro, Giraffe on Demo, Eerie on Heavy, Aaron on Engineer, Exile on Medic, Fallen Gourd on Sniper, and Death Joe on Spy.
I'm gonna have to refer to Supreme Toad as Marty. It's gonna be too awkward to say throughout that cast, but yeah, those are the rosters. We mentioned these are two long-term Highlander teams, MM and K&D. Back when these two had their big Titan matchups, Syath, the scout for K&D, was actually the MM scout, and that was a much different matchup coming on. Now he is on K&D with that top-seeded team, so it's gonna be interesting to see these two teams go back together, back and forth. They've scrimmed a lot in preseason. They've scrimmed a lot up to this point. They know each other very well. We know them very well. And Swiftwater is a map that's going to show us a lot about how they prepared. We might see some different strategies coming out than we're used to on Swiftwater, even.
Yeah, I'll be kind of curious to see how teams. I mean, this is an old map, but it doesn't mean you can't learn some new tricks. And I gotta imagine, this season also is for K&D. This is the first time they've used the name. Last time Kids Next Door was technically by that name was in season 3, I believe. And last year they kind of had their K&D has kind of existed since then in kind of different forms. I know Demento had a team of Krusty Krab Esports, which ended up getting second place. And I imagine that was a little bit of incentive for them to try a little bit harder this season because I think there was some off-classing on that team just a little bit. And definitely, I think losing to the in that grand finals maybe made them come out a little bit stronger this season, and definitely want to, set the tone to show that they are the number one. And this is definitely going to be a game for K&D to kind of show why they are so consistently the top team.
Yep, and this is the first time we've seen Candy on cast this season. So, like you mentioned, a lot of people might have heard the Krusty Krab Esports team last year, or last season rather. They didn't get that victory. There was off-classing going on. And whenever Candy dons the Candy tag, the Candy proper team name, that's when you know they're taking it seriously. This is the most competitive season we've seen in a while, and a lot of there's a bit of a thought process going on that if Demento isn't on Spy, it's not real Candy. Demento on Spy is such a big difference for this team and how he calls the game and like micros his team around them. So seeing that on cast for the first time, all of you are going to get to see what real Candy looks like if you're new to the Highlander scene.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. I mean, Demento, a long-time player. I've known that guy for a long time. Actually, met him at LAN. He's one of the few like LAN people from way, way back in the day. that I met up with. Just incredibly smart guy, great spy player, and just really is like one of those players who really kind of just treats spy in such a different way. Just he's got great timing, great comms for his team, and that's not something as typical, but it's so useful when you can have a spy who's in position making plays, but also can give you the essential comms at the right times. It really can make all the difference. I mean, speaking of kind of unconventional classes, I mean, back in the day when I played engineer, like that was one of the things that I did. I felt very strongly about was making good comms and how much it can really change a team in your favor, and that's definitely something that I think Demento, when he's on that spy class, when he's in his prime, can bring to his team. But what are some other key players that you kind of are looking out for, or you're thinking are going to be interesting people to watch through this match?
It's Swiftwater. We got to talk about SVS. If the defensive sniper goes off, then there's not much the offense can really do to counter that besides just trying to sack for him over and over. We got Boar versus Fallen Lord in this SVS. Two very good snipers, been at the top of the league for a while. Boar back in on top. Fallen has been a bit falling off this season, not to make a pun with his name, but we normally see Fallen as one of the better snipers in the league, top two in the like so many seasons. He's been having a lot of trouble with some of the snipers who are coming in hot and strong this season, like Weil, Michael PC1, all these snipers, very good players. So Fallen Lord, he's played against Boar time and time again. He knows he can beat Boar. He's beaten Boar in the past, and he's going to be trying to win that SVS, give his team some advantages to work with.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit curious to see, the SVS. I mean, in the first game of the season on Vigil, we saw Fallen just not have a great game. He really got outclassed in that SVS. I mean, just I don't know if he got outclassed in the SVS, I should say in particular, but he definitely just didn't have a great game in his favor. And so I'll be curious, coming in here. This is a map with definitely a couple points with really long sight lines that can really work in the favor of your team. Particularly on the defensive side, on the second point and on the fourth point, even on the last point. You can get some really kind of long angles that can do some damage. So it'll see, how these players, are going to be working out, in this. It looks like we're getting pretty close to, we have almost everybody in the
I'm
server,
missing one.
just one. So, but what are you're talking a little bit, and you kind of hinted at it. Maybe you can expand a little bit more on maybe some of the strategies that we're seeing, some of the evolution of Swiftwater that we can, maybe be catching a little bit of a sight of tonight.
Yeah, so we're familiar with the Swiftwater second push, where you put your flank through tunnel, try to push pressure the cart, fight side tunnel, do whatever they can, while the combo takes the Uber into apartments upper. We might see some variations today, where the combo is actually going to take a fast Uber in through main, through the main tunnel, and try to just pop, spread people out, get people across to different angles, and trying to collapse on the defense before they can even know what's happening. So K&D, they've practiced it, they know how it works, and we might see them try to pull it off if the scenario arises.
And this is also a map, just kind of in particular. I feel like it's a very flanks have a really important job in this map. I don't know how you kind of believe in that, but as a flank player myself, I definitely think that this is a really common map where you're going to have your flank and your combo kind of play apart from each other, which is sounds dumb because it's like, well, of course, that every map the flanking combo play away from each other. But in this one, it tends to be even more drastic, where you don't have any way to help each other in an immediate fashion. You're holding like in cave in the upper, and on the second point you have your flank holding in cave, and you have the combo holding inside of upper. And I think it's going to be kind of interesting, kind of looking at these flanks. Maybe who do you think is going to have the edge in the flank gameplay of the scout NG soldier?
I think looking across the between the two teams, I think the Scythe Scout and Muma Soldier is very strong, as well as Scratchy NG, one of the best DM NGs we've seen in a while. A lot of the old DM God NGs may not be playing anymore, but Scratchy still can shoot his shotgun with the best of them. And I really think that triple, not triple scout, but that triumvirate of those three are going to be able to completely, not wipe the floor, but I think we're going to look at them as the favorite on the flank. And you mentioned that flank likes to play separate from the combo a lot of times. There are exceptions on certain points. One of them that I want to talk about actually is the scout v scout matchup, when the scouts are going to be in on Ubers, like on the fourth point. And I think that Triple and Scythe, they play very similar, but also very different in that they both like playing beam. They both like playing pretty heavy combo, cleaning up off their damage, off their team's damage. But Triple's a lot more of a reserve player, more of a what's the word? He's very set in his ways where he's going to do his job, he's going to do his job well, Scythe can go off the chain. If he sees the opportunity to run forward and frag out, he's going to try his best to do it, and he will get multi kills in that process as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what the scenarios arise if the pushes get a bit different. We're going to see a lot of different pushes coming through from the scouts as well.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how these go down. Glad to see my boy Muma back. I just like you said Muma, and I'm like, wait a second, I thought it was Chad, and I go look it up, and
Yeah,
I'm like, that's my
at
boy
least in the
Muma.
server,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
know
yeah. We know.
he's visiting from the Overwatch League for a bit.
Yeah, that was my boy back in the. I was just one of those cool kind of experiences where it's like a guy. I mean, I played with a few players who went off to go into the Overwatch scene, but I was definitely glad to see him back and excited to see what he can do. He's definitely a good soldier in the game, and it's only going to be curious to see how he kind of transfers back to TF2, but. Yeah, this is looking like a really strong game for K&D. The other thing to kind of look out for, as looks like we do have 18 live in the server, at least in real time, is that so we should get ready up here pretty soon. Is I'm going to just talk about the engineer a little bit because I think this is one of the few engineer is like an important on a lot of maps, but I think on Swiftwater in particular, engineer's like so critical if he has his gun up to be able to deny points to make it so much harder. I think the second point is like a really great example is where if you have a engineer up with a gun in the upper area and you have like a combo who's like lightly holding, just existing, it's basically impossible to do anything on that point. That was like one of the things that's always the most annoying is like having to convince my team, like, no, like get that gun down. Because it allows you to take control of the grass. You can push out of the cave. You can start harassing in a lot of different areas. And the sentry being able to deny can be so huge, especially depending on the play styles. I don't know if anybody does the fourth point aggressive anymore like I used to do. It was like a meta for a little while. But that's definitely something to watch out for is kind of the sentry guns. Are they up? Because if they are, it's going to make it so hard for the flank to do a lot. And good engineers can keep their guns alive, especially because a lot of times you're having to take down the guns from a distance.
Yeah, definitely a lot that those engineers can do, especially if they end up fighting on flank for their offensive point of views. We might see a lot of card engie. We're probably going to see a lot of card engie because the scouts do like being in the combo, but when they do find their moments, they will be very apparent. And I just want to mention something a bit fun while we wait. We do have 18 in the server waiting for someone to use the bathroom, I believe. But if you look at just the names and you see Muma and ODB facing off on even classes, a few years ago, that's like the best demo man matchup in the league, and now they're both playing soldier years later against each other. It's kind of just a funny thought.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he was a demo man back in the day, so hey, just get his soldier on, why not? But definitely some older names. I mean, speaking of the demos, Jarrett and Giraffe, obviously two long-term demos around here. I've said it before on cast. The one thing I do like about Giraffe is that he's a very aggressive demo. They are live in real time, so 90 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to be seeing a real match. Yeah, you aren't just sitting around to listen to me talk.
Ooh, 22 minutes.
You are going to watch some live action. But just real quick, as we're getting ready for the ready up, is that, yeah, Giraffe, I really liked his gameplay, but I feel like it needs to be supported. He tended to be a really aggressive demo. And, that only works if you have an aggressive team to follow up with the space that you're creating. And I personally always loved him. I was a very aggressive engineer in my play style. And whenever I played with like a passive demo or a passive team, I just wouldn't do well, at least in my later years, especially as the meta kind of changed. But, yeah, definitely be curious as we are going to be seeing. It looks like Memento Mori is going to be starting out on the defensive side and K&D starting out on the offense. So it looks like... what are you expecting to see out of Memento Mori? You think there's going to do a traditional kind of hold inside of the cave?
Yeah, I think it's going to be standard from them. They're going to do the soft cave hold, back out to second, do standard. It's first round. They might not want to get too crazy right off the bat. It's going to be much more interesting, in my opinion, seeing what K&D are going to do on this offense. If they want to just start out standard, or if they want to try and break the mold right away. And we can look at their loadout, see what's going on a bit here in spawn.
Yeah, so this looks like everything's looking pretty standard. Just has that gun out there just for a little bit. He's going to bring that back, and he's just using it to build up the gun easier. As I enjoy that K&D is just sitting in spawn
Dolphin, do
completely.
not put the camera on, Jarrett.
Yeah, it is going to be very loud in that spawn room if you get anywhere close. Reminds me of my team back in the day. I bought them. all of them, I bought them all the guitar taunt, and we went into the window and we just spammed the guitar taunt over and over again. And like the amount of lag it cost the other team, they were complaining about it. But here we go, gates are down. We're opened up here. Week 3 matchup, K&D versus Memento Mori. As he gets started out, we're going to
shot.
He is going for the miracle play, but yeah, that medic's not even, well, I guess now peeking the corner because, you know, Exile Ken knows the sniper's dead. But K&D just taking their time moving that card up.
Now, this is a bit more of an aggressive stance that we're seeing out here from MM, because they're playing their heavy and their demo on these fences over here, trying to get some early kills, and it did work out well. They got Borsiath and Muma kills on all 3 of them, so it's gonna delay cart a little bit. It's not the most, and there is risk associated, but they played it very well, support each other, and they got out with everyone alive while getting those kills. So good early start. Now they're gonna do their back out of tunnel. Look at Bor, he's too aggressive. He's so aggressive.
Yeah, I mean,
they're going fast. This is what I was talking about. If they go fast through tunnel, they can maybe get an Uber out here, but on the back line, they do lose one to Spy Joe, getting kill onto Chad and Jarrett. So aggression got only Eerie and Joe, but it has been rejected for now.
They got their combo out. They're in upper. I mean, it was definitely like kind of it was a fast push, but it wasn't with their medic. They weren't going to commit an Uber charge to that. It was just kind of trying to push with their players to see if they can peek and get anything, but ultimately,
yeah, but the med's in tunnel here.
Oh, here
they're
they got the gun down. They got the gun down right away. Oh, you mean fast push through the tunnel?
Yeah, their med's gonna push right through tunnel with Uber. Their combo is in tunnel. This is abnormal from K&D, but this is what they've been practicing.
Now
they're see when they decide to go it. Ooh, they only did it to go through to get card up. I've been debated.
Yeah, they're keeping the gun down here, which is, again, I talked about the second point gun here can be so huge for denying the cart. And keeping that down is going to allow their team to push through as they just back up to level 1, but here comes out the Uber charge.
Yeah, they have Pyro in right now, getting that air blast in. Does get unflashed and Zuki can go down. Chad getting stabbed on the back end. Joe getting that kill as Bor snipes Aaron, so no gun going to be being rebuilt. But the Uber has been denied fairly well as K&D. Now they're going to rotate their combo into tunnel. Going to try and spread out fast, but the flank from MM is here.
Yeah, I got to imagine if they can take control of this exit, they don't have...
Joe.
They took down Joe, so now they know they can just start to walk through here. They have fallen. They looking through on that top right angle, and he's going to lose that SVS. Bor is going to go down, and that's going to... They want to walk through here. They're taking their time.
Yeah, the sniper's so threatening. It's so hard to walk out. Demento doesn't summon the triple, though, so they're going to flood out a tunnel right away, trying to get these kills. Eerie going to go down. Jarrett is the trade. Banner popped out here from ODB, doing a lot of resistance for his team. Going to get that kill onto Muma, as well as Fallen finding the snipe onto Scratchy, but their Enforcer is out. Giraffe going down to Demento, and there's people on the cart. K&D flooding out of tunnel, and it works well. Even if they lose their players, it is fine, because they have got that capture.
And oh, Demento was going to get a pick on, that was Bor at the end there. Or, sorry, Demento got a stab on Fallen Gord at the end there. And so, but that's what I was talking about. It's like, because the gun wasn't up, they were able to do that push drive. They didn't have to use Uber at all. They just walked in. Sath came in, disrupted the sniper, popped him up, got him low. All of that happened because the sentry gun wasn't up, allowing them to get a lot of free ground. And here we go.
Yeah, we are going to see a bit of a soft reset, but Exile just went down to a snipe from Bor. Where was that? Exile has been dropped as now Rogue has full Uber advantage to work with. They're walking people into IT as the Uber has been popped. Gun goes down, Draft caught out as well. Chad is the trade from triple, but they're walking in. Eerie going to get taken down. Joe trades on the heavy, but that's 4 down for MM, 4 down for K&D as well. They're going to drop out of IT here and try to get some space on the cart. We're going to have to see if the recontest can come through in time. Counter kills Joe and Scratchy going down at the end, as well as a stab onto Zuki. But there is cart time. They're going to have to back out now. Not enough numbers, so that is going to be a hold for MM for now.
Yeah, at least going to get a few more seconds off the clock here. They just got to be careful that they don't let anything sneaky come through. Demento is working himself into that back line. Jarrett waiting for his team to reconnect. But that's a really nice push out of K&D. They waited for that sap. The soldier bombed in from behind to take down that gun. Chad, Muma going in the back line. He's going to go down. Demento getting himself in position. He's found out, though. Triple hears that the decloak, takes him down. And Memento Mori, actually, they're holding on here a lot. Dead for K&D.
Rogue just got killed. He got bombed by ODB in that side area. He's going to lose that Uber. Exile now on 80% advantage, so it's a disaster for K&D. Weren't properly set. They lost 3 players, and they couldn't keep the sacks off of their meds, so disaster striking. They're going to be at full Uber disset. They have 4 in the apartment's windows. They're going to have to back up for now. It's going to be a reset on their end. Now they're going to find out what they want to do next.
Demento is getting bumped by Def Joe there over in the corner, but yeah, they just gotta be careful that they don't give too much control of the house area. ODB is gonna go contest that, stop Bor from getting comfortable in that window area.
Crescent's guarding him.
Yeah, they're doing a great job making it so board can't feel comfortable. And while we're talking, the PC side, Uber Charge is going to come out here from a Giraffe. Gets forced out, and so that is going to give a 50% Uber advantage here for K&D. But how do they want to use that?
Yeah, that force was not optimal from them. They couldn't find anything. They only got Kresnik out of the apartment, so that wasn't even the main Uber. As now Candy gonna walk in through main, try and take advantage of the mana they have, and they just flood cart once again. That coordinated flooding of cart is too much for MM to handle, and even with more players on high ground and more health, they can't do anything about it. So now they're gonna be swapped back onto fourth. It's gonna be Muma jumping forward, trying to contest Marty. Marty gonna air blast back. Another bomb in, can't quite find his way over. Eerie gonna take him down. Demento and Zukima dropping as well, and Spy getting a step onto Jarrett. So now Candy down 4 members, gonna be Kresnik dropping as well. Only 4 alive, but it's fine. Rogue is back up. Exile on 75%, but this is an okay pace for them still.
Yeah, they're going to have a chance. They're set up here. I mean, K&D was trying to take ground quickly, but it was a great job on Memento Mori. They knew that they were going to lose that point of the third. They got out quickly. They were able to set up here on the fourth and get themselves in a decent position. Dispenser up, Mini up, but Jarrett's walking forward. A lot of ground.
Uber.
Counter bomb by ODB. I'm sorry, by Chad. And it is going to take you down. Uber does come out from the red side of the defense, but they have no sniper up, no sentry gun up, and the engineer's down. And this is going to be a lot of free ground for K&D. I don't think this is can contest this. I think they need to fall back.
Yep, if anything, they need to try and get a kill on Rogue while keeping players alive, because now they're at a 60% Uber disab. They're not going to find anything as Kresnik walks forward, shreds Eerie and Giraffe. That combo is eviscerated. It's going to be all on cart for K&D, 100% Uber in just a second here, and rolling through these 4 points. So very good aggression from them to force that Uber, kite it out, and then repush. They've been doing that all the time. Joe trying for that hero plan to Rogue, isn't going to find it, taken down. So yeah, K&D just have such good ebb and flow this game of when to push, what to force, what to kite. It's looked amazing for them so far.
Yeah, they've been doing a great. I mean, my casting has struggled here because of how coordinated they are. There's so much going on at once, and that's exactly what you want to do. They're coming into this final point, 632, and this is looking, not great. And here comes up the Uber Charge. Big advantage right now, about 20%. How long can Memento Mori hold on? The gun is still alive. They're not focusing. He's healing it up. Jarrett's trying to do everything again. Finally does go down, but they're down in the corner. And the Uber Charge is just coming up for Exile, but they only have 4 alive.
Yep, it's going to be Marty and ODB going to be Ubered onto cart here, trying to find those kills. They find Jarrett and Chad falling with that snipe. Another headshot, railing damage as now 3 Ubered players on the cart. They're going to try to walk forward, get some kills, but they can't chase that far. And K&D escape with 7 players alive, forcing that Uber. They have another advantage to work with. We're going to probably see them dry pushing again.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a scared Uber. I think they were just wanting to get people to get off that cart, but K&D was already pretty much completely out. I don't know if they got a single kill.
I think they had to. They were only 4 up.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a bad pop, but it just was, again, just an advantageous play by K&D to just keep that pressure on the cart, but not have anybody really in to kind of force an awkward Uber out of Memento Mori. So here we go, set up, but still getting a little bit more time for Memento Mori, a little bit more help for them to be able to have a better offense when they need to.
Yep, Rogue 100% Uber, Exile only 40, or 70, excuse me, as they're going to Uber up the side again. Pop it, but they don't get up the stairway. Instead, it's going to fade right at the top. They get the gun. That's it. As Jarrett and Kresnik drop. But Demento finding that stab onto Exile from that high ground area. Getting that med drop is so crucial for them. It's now a 7v7, but MM are losing players fast. It's a cart stack again. And like all the cart stacks so far, it has worked out phenomenally. And that is the cap for K&D. 8-14. That's pretty good. I'd say it's slightly faster, if not even on average. So they'll be feeling okay about that. There's definitely points where they could have done better, like on third, where they lost their medic and flank. But overall, it's pretty standard so far from what we were expecting.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, definitely feel like K&D, had a few moments where maybe they could have got a little bit more off of it. I mean, that third push was so close, but just a really nice defense, and that's really what it came down to. Is this time was Memento Mori kind of coming out just a few times where it looked like they probably should have lost the point, but they ended up taking it down. And so 8-14, I'm guessing. Given how that round looked, I would be happy as Memento Mori is. They are all standing at the window just looking out. I love it.
It's such a shame for Eerie person at the end there, because the reason why that Uber couldn't get up the ramp was he stood in there with his big fat heavy body and blocked it the entire time. And it was such a good play. It got because the Uber ran out so early, they lost Demo and Heavy instantly on K&D's side. But then Demento finding that stab onto Exile was exactly what they needed to make that push work in the end. So good plays from both sides coming out, as it really is just an execution war. But K&D's ebb and flow looked amazing. So they very clearly have the team play necessary.
And so we'll see what they can do. Memento Mori coming out now. They are going to be on offense trying to beat the time. They set on defense. OBEB coming in with an early bomb in. Didn't find anything, unsurprisingly.
Oh, but Fallen gonna find the entrance to Zukima. That could actually be big
Ooh,
enough. Another
and Jared
headshot. Ooh. Yeah, that's great by Fallen. Mor gonna respawn in kind though, taking down Giraffe on that one, so he's gonna be holding his respawn timer. Memento cloaked on this tree, gonna be calling out everything for his team to see. Another bomb from ODB, and the backout should come shortly for Candy here.
Yeah, they spot the trap that was laid down on the log,
Boar
so
is
Exile
low.
can come out a little bit more comfortably. The scout goes down of Syath. Demento is moving. I thought at first I thought it'd be cloaked, but he is just kind of watching, waiting
Just
for
wants to
Exile.
call.
Yeah, and he's oh he might have been spotted there. He's going to get himself in a less of a hidden position as Exile fully out. The first point goes down here, and yeah, we'll see how it looks. Looks like Demento wants to work his way up here.
Looks like MM going straight through Shutter with this Uber fast, already popping it. They're trying to find Rogue. Now that Uber's gonna come out, it's a lot later. They're gonna have to get herded back through this doorway. Zukima and Jarrett walking forward, zoning them back. Uber didn't find anything besides the opponent's Uber, so gonna be another reset here as the cart is getting pushed up. The flank fight is what you need to focus on. Soldier bombing in right now. Chad trying to find his kills, but Mumu gets taken down by triple, so that is space for the cart to move forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because that actually had Kresnik in the tunnel, which, you know, it seems like a deliberate choice, not something that happened by accident. So, yeah, just a little bit of a curious entry as ODB behind harassing the engineer. Scratchy actually down to half HP. The gun's being spammed down with the pistol as well, and that is going to go down. And so now the entry from the cart, there's nobody on cart. Just push it. Just get on the cart. There's nobody defending it. I mean, Kresnik finally putting some of the bullets onto there, but this is going to be a good exchange as Exile, they have the Uber advantage right now by about 20%, so, and they have the gun down. This is going to be a good push if they have it.
Cart fight going through as Uber is popped in upper. They're trying to drop down onto these players. We see Jarrett going down early to that Marty Pyro, as well as Stabs trading on Triple and Chad. There's no cart time right now as Andy's trying to get on it, but up the high ground is had by MM. They're going to push Candy out of this. Rogue only on 90%. Without the recontest is up in the air, but Mor finding that snipe onto Exile, as well as Demento shanking, falling down is a lot of kills, but they can't quite get in time. The cap goes through. Cart stack once again reigns supreme as Rogue 100% Uber, but no point to defend it with as they're going to lose Bor and Chad on the back out.
Great job out of Memento Mori, just really focusing on that capture time. They were losing a lot of that fight, it felt like, but just keeping that cart pressure really did a lot. I mean, that's one of the things that can be often overlooked is the objective, but great job out of Memento Mori. 5:26 coming in here, and they're pacing themselves really well, and we'll see what they can do on the third point. They are at a severe Uber disad, though.
Yeah, they're going to work Fallen Lord into IT here. Going to look for a pick. No one is going to be peeking right away. Zuki eats a 150 body shot, but he will be okay. On the front end, we did see Joe stab Scratchy, so that sentry gun goes down. Not going to have that one for a long while as there's 10 seconds left on the respawn timer. Joe going to go down, though, on the back end, so a bit of respite for them. This is like people pushing forward now. Candy Ubered into IT, trying to find some kills, but they didn't get anything, and they lost Syath as well, so Exile on 90% Uber to work with on this offense.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can do. All they got to do is just a solid push in. I'm expecting K&D to probably back out as soon as this. You can see they're not even holding it anymore. They're playing really passively. Jarrett's finally rotating around. Here comes out the Uber charge. They got to be careful. Yep, and they're
already in spawn.
Yeah, they're already in spawn. They know that Jarrett's going to stay in.
They're trying to stack for kills, but yeah, they're not getting into any pressure into the choke point. They're hurting them back. As now Candy are going to walk back out with this damage and zoning. They're getting one kill into Eerie and Triple. Bomb in from the Soldier ODB. Not going to find any kills as counter in from K&D works pretty well, I would say. They get that space back and they're going to have Uber to work with. They're not trying to collapse on the leftover kills. It's just Exile and Joe, spy medic combo. They do get their medic out alive, so them have that to work with. But Candy, once again, proving that kiting wins all. They kite out that full Uber disad and then repush onto third and take that ground back.
Yeah, I think this is a difference between K&D and a lot of other teams, because even myself, I probably would have been like, all right, we're done, let's get out here. But they saw the weakness, they saw, and that's the thing is, like, when they pushed in with that Uber charge, they didn't really take ground. They pushed in from that lower area, they didn't take upper, they didn't take high ground, and that ultimately worked against them because they were basically fighting from the entrance, and they didn't really split the push in any way. And so here comes out the Uber charge for the defense of K&D.
Ooh, and Demento finding that 2K onto Aaron and Exile, that medic pick, all crucial here. They're going to clean up what's left of MM in this choke point. Fully aggressive push by K&D works out wondrously for them. Only 2 alive for MM as another Uber ad is going to be in Rogue's possession once they build that up here. And Cart is still stuck on third. Only 3 minutes left for MM. They don't have any hopes of this round. That they do have time, but they need to be flawless from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need to get a spy cap here, but it's unlikely with Zukima sitting directly on top of it.
They really should just cart stack. And they got to pick on Tabor, so that's good to work with. No one to snipe you down.
So we'll see what they are able to do here. 3 minutes left. As you said, they need to be balls to the wall. They just need to push. They need to do it yesterday. And we'll see what they can do. That's a great pit. Goes down early. Eerie person above. They have nobody contesting right now. Actually, it's essentially doing a lot of damage.
Pyro and Soldier coming out of there, but they can't find the kills. The gun is cleaning everyone up. Eerie going down, Marty going down, ODB going down. Syath is betrayed, but it's still an even advantage now, or even numbers. It's going to be spawners up for K&D. Those revenge crits from Scratchy bringing out that shotgun once his gun went down. So another stronghold from K&D, and Exile, again, his Uber isn't there, so Rogue full advantage to work with on his defense. It's getting really desperate, if not impossible, right now for MM.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much going to need ×3 the rest of the way here, and being at 80% disad, probably not going to do it for you. The card even rolled further back because it wasn't touched for a little while. Def Joe is going to wait, I think, to take down the... Well, let's see. He's looking to make a play onto Kresnik. Going to go for the jump stab. Doesn't get it. He's going to go down. And looks like we're going to see, though, Memento Mori pushing from... yeah, they're pushing from that upper area right now, but here comes out the overcharge from the red side.
IT trying to get through this door. Pyro does air blast it back, so Marty gonna save his team that one. They do lose 4 players on Candy's side, so they're gonna get those respawns in. Eerie is focused down in main. Bomb in from ODB, takes down that revenge crit Engie and trades his life for Jared. It's gonna be people walking onto cart, but it's only 4v4. They can't get this cart capped up. It's Marty alone, gonna get cleaned up. Spy in, Joe trying to find that step. Ooh, gets cleaned up. You hate to see that one, and that will be game over, round over. There's no time left for him to push this.
Yeah, a minute 30 left. We're into garbage time here, and I guess maybe we can break down a little bit as we're kind of in the waning seconds is, you know, what do you think kind of went wrong there, Zay? You know, because I think the big thing, you know, obviously that second went a little bit long, but the third, obviously, the retake. What do you think, Kane, like what happened in that fight on that third point that allowed K&D to retake it? I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, you mentioned that MM didn't take the high ground, or they didn't take the spawn doors, and well, yes, you need to sticky off the spawn doors. Candy played it phenomenally, where yes, their medic, sniper, and you know, like one combo player, one flank player were in the spawn gate. The rest of them were coming from apartments, coming from the choke point, and causing chaos. And when you split your team throughout so many angles, and the MM just has too much to focus, they have too many things overloading them, and that allows your combo time to get out of spawn to recontest. It's really just how Highlander is supposed to be played. When you have 9 players in the game, you make them shoot at 9 different things. Don't make them shoot at one big death bolt thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, this is kind of like maybe like a really minor thing that might be nothing, but typically, like, it's interesting because it's like when you have a teleporter, it really kind of dictates where people go a lot of the time. And what's interesting is that Memento Mori had the teleporter on the second point, whereas typically, I mean, I think a lot of engineers have it in the, you know, outside of the first point, you know, so you can choose, do you go into house or do you go into the second point where you can kind of make that decision. It makes it a lot easier to get people into that house, and I felt like when we were watching K&D, they had a lot of people inside of house who are taking control of that, and kind of when they scattered, it created more points to attack from, whereas I felt like Memento Mori often was either hitting from IT or from like the choke. Like they weren't really, I didn't feel like they're getting a lot of pressure from that house area, and I'm wondering if maybe their teleport placement was kind of dictating where players were going a little bit too much. It's a little high-level engineer gameplay, maybe nothing, but
yeah, could be an issue because, like we mentioned, spreading out is how you win these late scattered fights. Candy, they're so good at dry pushing with just getting players out, getting players in around the opponents, surrounding them, not taking the same damage, and focusing things together as a team while the enemies can't do the same to them. And when MM can't do the same, they just get outclassed in the team fights, even if their players are making phenomenal plays. Saw a lot of great things from Fallen, a lot of great things from Marty as well, the deny for his combo, but it just doesn't matter when you're outclassed as a team.
And I think you can really see the being outclassed in the stats, and it's not because they're outclassed in terms of like damage output or in terms of like, you know, if you look at the kills and damage, K&D had 117 kills, and Memento Mori only had 93 kills. So that's about 24 kill difference. So 24 kill difference, but there's only about like 1,000 damage difference. Like that's insane.
Less than
that's
1,000.
insane.
It's 67 damage difference between the team. DPM rather, not total damage, but still 67 DPM difference when you get out fragged by like what 20,
24.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just shows you it's a difference in how the teams are taking the fights. K&D, all the damage they do results in kills. I have a bit of a joke with some of the players when we play Apex together on K&D. Uh, you kill what you whatever I shoot at dies, whatever you shoot at doesn't. There's such a thing as garbage damage. There really is. Where if you're not cleaning up off of damage, then is if it's not stalling you or buying you time, then it really just doesn't do anything. It's just stat padding.
Yeah, I mean, look at like this is kind of interesting stat I think is like well I guess both soldiers didn't have a lot of assists. There actually wasn't a lot of assists in this game in general. It feels like. But like, we have ODB who had 21 kills, 3 assists, but basically top damage in the server. And I would be expecting him to have a little bit more assists, right? Like he shouldn't be finishing every single kill that he gets. I mean, obviously ODB, he's being effective. He's doing a good job. He's being more effective, arguably than Muma, given that he has twice the amount of damage and twice the amount of kills. But that also maybe speaks to maybe the rest of his team isn't, timing it when he's going in to get that extra damage. I can't really speak to it, but you can look at Giraffe, who's sitting at 8 kills, 8 kills, whereas Jared has 17, but he's only 500 less damage, like 7 less DPM, right? But he has half the kills. And that to me is just speaking to Giraffe. His not having his damage being followed up on. And I feel like Memento Mori, if they're going to win this game, they have the skills to match K&D, and they do a lot of things right. Obviously, they're right in there with that game, but they need to make sure they're following up on that damage, that they're focusing their kills, and they're doing better against it when K&D is kiting their Ubers.
Yeah, Candy's definitely just playing better on that side of the ball, the metaphorical ball. And I do want to just give my opinion here because, I'm a caster. I can give my opinion even if people disagree with me. Coming into the match, obviously, Candy are the favorite team, right? We've seen scrims happen. Candy, they beat MM most of the time. If not, they trounce them. There's sometimes where it's close, but in reality, Candy are the better team. From what I've seen this first half, I'm actually of the opinion that MM don't have the skill set to win a round here. And that's because what I'm seeing from K&D of playing fights properly, focusing things down together, spreading out together, that's not an adjustment you can make on the fly for MMM. That's at this point, this is Highlander sense and practice coming in strong for one of the most franchise dynasty, if not the most franchise dynasty of Highlander ever. And it feels romantic to say it that way, but I really just think that this team is playing on another level. And
No,
for any of you
yeah,
Highlander up and comers, you need to study this team if you want to be good at this game mode.
yeah. I mean, they're. I mean, there's been several moments where they've just put on a clinic with some of their pushes. Like the retake of third in the playing against a severe Uber disad. I think it's just a really good example. I mean, definitely like if you're a lower upcoming team, like grab this STV, look at it, watch, learn, and kind of look at what they do, how they play off each other, how they spread out. Because again, like both of these teams are putting out similar damage, but the kill totals are drastically different. And obviously, one team got stuffed on the third point, and so it's going to be very curious. I agree. I honestly I don't think Momentum Mori is going to have a chance to take the next round, but a couple good things go their way. They're able to ride momentum. I mean, this is a long map, so it can be hard to ride momentum from one point to another. But they had a really nice push on that second point. I mean, they took it basically dry, when K&D was looking to have a lot of advantage. So there's definitely things that Momentum Mori is doing right this game, and I believe that they do have a chance. But as you said, I mean, K&D, they're looking fantastic tonight and definitely looking to show themselves of why they want to finish in that first place spot, not just in the regular season, but obviously get that grand finals under their belt this season.
Yeah, and you mentioned map length, which I want to talk about real quick, actually, because we saw Vigil played in week one, and while the cast we saw MM versus QDs, and QDs did win that 2-0. Both the rounds could have gone either way, and that there was the round that was decided by Wild hitting the nuts quick scope on Hill, and there was the first round, which was a nice defensive effort from both teams. It came down to the wire. When you're on a short payload map like Vigil, or like a shorter map in general, individual mistakes are so much more costly because one big mistake on second on Vigil can cost you third, and that's half the map. On Swiftwater, because it's so long, it's a lot, like I mentioned, it's a lot harder to properly snowball because teams have a lot more space to back up and reset. And that's why I think that even if there are points where MM do individually outclass Candy skill wise, like we saw in third, Fallen got snipes onto Boar and Jarrett, and that should be a fight win. Like Demo Man sniper down on the defense, that should just be over. It just didn't matter in the long term, in the grand scope of things, because Candy were just outclassing them so much, and they had time to make up their mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be curious to see. We got what's going to happen in this next half. But as you said, it just K&D seems to be recovering a lot better from when they're a little bit down and out. And I mean, that's just a hard thing to make up. It's a hard thing to overcome. I mean, game sense is just it just can't be competed against in many ways, and that's when you're kind of a team that is slightly below. It's like you can't just do better DM, like you have to do everything like 110% better than that top tier team. You could try to go up against KD, try to go up against Froyotech. It's like you can't just try to be as good as them in terms of DM. Like you have to do everything else, and you have to work that much harder because they've been doing it for so long. They understand it. And this is all, I mean, as we were talking about, a very important match for Memento Mori to put themselves in a good spot. I mean, especially they're looking to be maybe that third, potentially fourth place team, and this could have been a key match to keep them out of that fourth place spot so they don't run into K&D in that first round. But I guess we'll kind of wait and see. As I'm not really sure what is taking these times. One team, K&D, is readied up here. So it's like Memento Mori is taking their time,
Yeah,
maybe talk things over.
discussing.
Which honestly,
But,
I don't hate. I don't hate that they're
yeah,
doing
they
that.
they can try their best. They might be able to win a round if they do really just play that much better. But I want to clarify, because it might sound like I'm coming off like this. I'm not calling a bad team or saying that they have bad players or anything like that. They have very good players. They're one of the most experienced teams we have in Highlander, and they are definitely a team worthy of respect. It just feels like K&D, when you play this much better together, it's just not a thing you can properly contest with 1 week of Swiftwater scrims coming back, when a lot of your players are coming back to playing or remaining on a Highlander team for the first time in a while. And there's just a lot of work to be done. I know that a lot of MM's players can stand up to K&D's in terms of DM, if not outclass them. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, and we are live in real time, guys. So we are gonna be going up here, but we'll see what Memento Mori is able to do. I'm excited to see the second half. Just I don't know. I just have a feeling like Memento Mori might surprise us just a little bit. Like I don't know if they're gonna win the round, but I feel like they took this time, they caught their breath. They're not going down tilt. That's one of the things that annoys me a lot as a caster and as a player when I see a team that's losing instant ready up because they're on tilt and they've given up any hope. I really do appreciate a team taking their time, catching their breath, trying to talk over the things they can do differently, what they need to do. I'm hoping that's what they're taking their extra time for. As we are in this second round, this is match point for K&D, as we expect to see pretty much the same. The first point, K&D. Like Rogue was kind of messing around a little bit earlier on, so yeah, they're gonna go for the hold inside the tunnel. They're not going anything crazy.
I would hope not.
Board,
But
look
then
at
again,
Board,
who
though.
knows? Maybe.
They might have. I think they actually brought Rogue out to distract for Boar. Boar's in the house.
Maybe. This is the big brain play. We do have Bor in this house, like you mentioned, in this window. I'm not sure what he's gonna do here. Like, what's the end goal here? Do you want to just
You
hold here
hide
and wait for
until
the med?
yeah, you hide. You don't show yourself at all.
It's so hard for it to last out that long, though, because the scout's gonna check it. Someone's gonna check it.
Mm-hmm.
knows?
Spies get kills all the time. I mean,
Maybe lapse in judgment happens and we have a really funny moment. But if anyone's gonna hit the one shot, win the game, it's gonna be Bor. So we're gonna see what they're gonna do. Again, Candy. Actually, they're playing a bit more forward than they were at the start. Gonna deny this bomb trap, going up and not coming down. Will get taken down immediately. Up and the long comment to win the SBS.
He just wanted to get the SBS. He's gonna die here. Yeah. He didn't care. I mean, actually, I didn't look at the SBS from last round. I'm actually kind of curious if that was just the revenge. I just want to take a quick look as we have a little bit of time
honestly,
here.
I don't hate that play because now they can stay out here longer. Now they don't have to worry about Fallen Lord, get some more damage out. It's just a bit more damage. They're gonna back up off it. So everything is as normal so far after that bit wacky start.
Yeah, just having a little bit of fun in the second round. Demento's still holding it. But, he hasn't been found out yet. Kind of just keeping eyes. Exile still has not left spawn, which Demento can relate to his team. The first point is going down here. Already K&D back on this next point, as we can see.
Jacob's uncloaked in the river, so he's gonna get caught out and kill binds. So they're not gonna have comms coming forward.
Yeah, they're not going to know. I mean, if they do anything untraditional, they're going to get caught off guard. Momentum are actually, they're going through tunnel. Nobody's in tunnel. Nobody's spotted them yet in any meaningful way, except for maybe Syath has caught glimpse of some people.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're doing this just to get their flank up here in their sniper position. They're going to back out. It does look like that is the play. Their medic and demo man going to walk back out here towards apartments.
Yeah, and we see ODB spamming into the upper area. Demento's going to get a kill on him. No, misses the stab. Sayath trying to push on him, but he's going to get back. Or kills Aaron on the cart.
Uber up top comes through. It's going to be MM popping through the shutter. Zuki to deny, doing a great job so far. Exile trying to get through the door. Gonna get denied. Giraffe blasted back, and the Uber, it finds the dispenser, but the flank fight is what really popped off, as Sayath and Bor are both dead from this low ground. Gonna be people dropping on cart. Candy now need to defend it with their lives. President and Zuki down here.
Yeah, they lost Aaron, they lost the cinch gun, and now they're going to lose the heavy on the car. Giraffe walking through, they have a level 1 up that is being wrangled. Oh, Marty was
Marty
on
walking
Rogue.
at him.
Oh, so close. Triple now, actually, he's seeing blood. He's going to back
Marty's
off. Rogue
fine.
going back spawn. Jarrett's going to go down here. They have the level 1 gun. That is their only real defense right now.
Oh yeah,
Jarrett,
but the high ground recontest from Jarrett and Triple
Bor
gets kills onto Zuki, Jarrett, and Sayath. There are a lot of players down. Bor now trying to live, but Scratchy, oh no, he didn't find him. He's going to shotgun down Triple, but his sniper is the death in the return. Scratchy does find Giraffe, so that's nice for him, but that is a cap for MM here, and they're going to have about a 30% advantage to work with, so Candy kind of bungling that lower hold on second. Their flank died early and forced their combo to drop, so not quite optimal. Yeah, Kresnik stabbed by Joe on this one as well, so a lot of picks to work with. MM, they're trying to make me eat my words quickly as they have a mana to work with here. Scythe contesting cart forces that Uber out and Kite's out, but they're going to walk forward. Marty onto Jarrett and Scythe gets those 2 kills for them. It's going to be another reset for MM as they're going to try to collapse on the cart. Players going down from both sides. 3v5 right now. Rogue 90% Uber. They're going to have to give this up though. And that's 3 minutes through 3 points. That is what we've not seen from MM so far. Candy either messing up or MM playing amazing. Your call. They're going to go straight into 4th here.
Yeah, this is a great job taking ground early. That's a great play out of Memento Mori. They fixed their mistake that they did last time.
Marty.
That was a Marty bad play. Very bad play. ODB going to go down as well. And that's going to make KNDL feel a lot more comfortable walking out here as Giraffe's going to try to get some damage onto combo. Death Joe, he's getting himself into position. Uber charge is out. Exile has to get out of here alive. He's only at 50%, 100 HP left on him. He's trying to get out, dodges enough as Jarrett is pretty low, is able to keep his life. ODB bombing in a lot of damage onto the flank class, but not able to secure any kills. But MM is going to reset 70% Uber charge, 50% advantage.
Snipe.
And that is a big snipe taking down Kresnik, and that's another person. And look at a lot of ground from Memento Mori right now.
Yep, they're going to get a lot of kills on the cart. Bor responding in kind, kills onto Aaron. Eerie dropping to pipes from Jarrett. Dementa going in on the combo with the distraction. They're going to walk forward. Zuki forces that Uber, so good play from him. But they're going to have to kite backward. Gun hovering the pyre. You shouldn't have jumped there, Marty. It's going to be just Demo Man. Going to get that gun killed. And 60% for Rogue, but they're going to have to walk back and give up 4th.
And this is, I want to go back to that 3rd point because I want to talk about really quick as they're doing exactly actually as I'm saying. They're taking a lot of foreground. They're not letting K&D even have a chance at resetting at anything. ODB getting a bomb in. And I mean, almost might have been able to get a force there if he wanted to, but Rogue was not at 100% yet. But they're doing a great job. They're not playing passive with these supercharges, not playing passive with their positioning.
Joe?
And Fallen, he's trying to get a snipe onto...
Oh, he dropped Rogue!
He took down Rogue!
So many good picks this game, and he finds the medic drop on the last one. We're going to see MM funneling through the right side here with all their players. A Soldier contest, can't find it. Fallen finds another one onto Bor, going absolutely off this round. Giraffe pipes down Muma as well. It's only 5 up for Candy. They're going to try to collapse on the cart. Aaron, Triple, and Joe going down. Demento with a revolver. 2K getting a lot of kills. Rogue here trying to live, gets back to his dispenser as Eerie is in the window. They're going to all drop down onto cart. Health is so low for the Candy side. Jarrett going to get healed up. They have Scythe as well. They need to hold this tight. It's going to be Marty getting forced back by Scythe, and they are going to stay up strong for now.
Exile at 100%, 50% advantage. Now it's how Memento Mori wants to push. Kresnik is holding down by the cart. They have to be careful about that for any flank players who go down there. There is no sentry up right now to help defend as that 100% is being held onto. They're trying to stop any forward progress here from Memento Mori as they are holding on to. Here comes in Giraffe on the cart. It's going to be a straight push from the cart. This is a curious choice. They're going to do a lot of damage. But how much is it really going to help out their team?
They need cart pushers. They need to get making it go forward. It's going to be heavy on the ramp. Going to put out the fist and get taken down by Triple. Scythe as well going down. ODB on top finds that huge rock. He takes down Muma and Rogue. And there's so many kills coming through. That is going to be the cap up for MM. 542, showing everyone that they are a good team. Like we mentioned, they can do this. They absolutely popped off that game. They snowballed, they took pressure, and they got the picks as well. We have to give MVP to that round to Fallen. He found so many entries to them. Man played out of his mind. He might not be highest on the scoreboard, but it's about the picks that matter. He found so many important picks there for his team. Almost every time it was a crucial entry.
Yeah, ODB also I feel like he did a lot great. I mean, at that end push, we're like, okay, they're pushing from the lower area. What is it doing? You know, it's not going to be enough, and that's a big problem. Is they had a lot of singular pushes from a single point in a choke area, and it really worked against Memento Mori. This time, they worked their flank into it. ODB, he top fragged last game. He came back, but I just want to ask you, you feeling a little bit less confident about your words earlier there? Because Memento Mori coming out very strong.
They can thank me later because I pulled out the biggest caster curse in TF2 history on that one. I kind of like put them in the dirt a bit. Like I didn't mean to actually say anything that hurtful, but
I mean, like you were going pretty strong at it. Like,
your mic's a bit.
They had flashes of what they can be, and right now.
Sega, your mic is not the best right now.
Oh, it switched up. Sorry.
Yeah. Alright, while he gets that fixed, we will get started here with the next round. Triple taking out Bor early, going for that fast pick, not working out, taking out in return. Draft finding that early kill onto Jared. Just the first point DM fight as we're making out to be, just trying to get some kills and damage as the card gets pushed up. Nothing special so far, as only flank players and demo men have gone down.
And they're going to work their way in here. Hopefully have a little bit of a better sounding thing as Memento is running forward at Giraffe, who I think pretty low. He actually might get caught off here. He's going to reconnect with XL, but nobody was there.
Muma doesn't hit the jump to get over the fence, so they will get all their players out. Normal so far thing, but Memento again taken down early, so not going to be in for any potential flank plays or saps or gunshots. Going to be flank fight coming in. Zuki does go down on the front side, taking out Bor as well. Triple with a 2K. Going to be delaying that tunnel push, but taken down in return by Jarrett with a pipe. Combo coming through here to get some flank pressure. I actually want to see if they decide to do the tunnel push this time. If not, it's just going to be again the get the card up here, then rotate combo upper.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do. Demento's working his way in through that main area. Let's see. Nobody yet. There's nobody upper right now. They're all on the cart. And the last time they did this, they kind of took down the gun. They got the cart up, and then they ran back. So the cart is getting itself into position, and that's exactly what they're doing. They got the sniper crossed. So now Bor has some options of how he wants to attack this. The combo's working their way up there, 100% on either side. And we'll see how it's going to go.
Rotation is through Candy up at the shutter. Gonna peek through, try to get some damage. No sniper watching. He's watching tunnel instead. Uber through here onto Zuki and Jarrett, trying to get this pyro down. And they do get the force as they're gonna be back up through the shutter. Zuki probably gonna die for his troubles, gets taken down. But that is the Uber trade. We're gonna see Candy now. They're gonna try to rotate down into tunnel and flood cart. But the gun and the sniper are big problems here. We're gonna see how they choose to deal with those two.
There's 150 seconds they held onto that Uber charge. I guess that makes sense since it was since the start, but I thought that was kind of interesting stat line.
Memento's in the back. He's gonna have to
343 though. Look, I also just like, oh, by the way,
Aaron's dead.
Aaron's dead. Sentry gun down. They have to push the cart aggressively
Memento
right
shoots
now.
it down. Gun is not there. It's just falling on the high ground. He gets scorch shot. It needs to get extinguished. It's going to be people pushing through cart. Kresnik's health is low. Banner out from ODB is going to be crucial in pushing them back. Jarrett's health is also very low. On the front end though, Bor finding that snipe onto Fallen and Scythe going down as well. Kresnik wins that fight to ODB as the tunnel, the cart flood is in here, and it is unstoppable. It's like a train coming through. Bor finding the snipe onto Triple, can't contest it, and that's the snowball that Candy look for every time, and they're going to do it successfully. It's all about the snowball now.
I might give this up and go straight to fourth. This is going to be a very difficult position. They have key players down. Giraffe's not up yet. They're at 94%. And this, I mean, they can hold on to this, but
Watch
they only need to defend
here.
for 3
They have
minutes.
a lot of ground in. Bor finding that snipe onto Aaron, so no gun gonna stay up again. Soldier bombing into this choke. Gonna get some kills, but it gets sniped up by Bor on a 6K. Uber in here, trades on the cart, but there's a lot better for MM right now. They're gonna have a solo onto Triple. It's gonna run back. Bor finds another kill onto Fallen. 8K for him. Demento finding Marty as well. It's only 3 up for MM as they're losing everybody. Scythe winning that scout fight onto Triple and then chasing down Eerie Person. So this snowball is perfect from them. They're giving MM a taste of their own medicine at this point as they're into fourth already.
And this is why I think it should have gone to fourth right away. It's gonna be a tough hold, and now they're gonna fight even harder. As you can see Jarrett get in here, getting a lot of spam down. Demento behind. ODB's gonna go air
takes down ODB on that
so
front end.
big, and now, this is looking so bad. Jarrett getting a lot of damage down. They can't even peek their head out. They might even have to fall back to fifth.
It's absolutely constant, the fighting going on. Bor rails off another headshot. The damage is real onto this ramp. Bor and Jarrett railing them in the low ground. And I'm trying to push up out of this rut that they're in, but they can't quite get out. It's going to be a bomb forward from ODB trying to make pressure on the rock, but he gets shredded by Kresnik. Can't find anything as their health is still bad. They're healing. Demento on the
100%
is a distraction. They're going to have to pop immediately because of the bomb from Muma. Uber is out here onto cart trying to stop it. Tsukima air blasting them into the sky. Jarrett is skyboxed as there's more on the cart, but he gets killed. The cart is rolling back down the hill. Recontest in from KND gets cleaned up onto Giraffe and Yuri. Such a good play by KND to kite that one out. Zuki as well, air blasting them off of it, and that's going to be another cap in and full Uber ad for Rogue. A minute 20 left.
They're playing this really aggressively on the defensive side, and it's just not quite working out for them. But we'll see what they can do. The gun is going to go down here early from Aaron from Boar Snipe. He's going to try to get aggressive down low on that HP. Only Mini's up right now as he hasn't been able to really get settled yet. Keeps winning him up. Boar keeps taking them down. 100% though, ready for KND. A minute left on the clock, and they're going through the cart. Here they come.
Ooh, stab onto Giraffe from Memento. It's going to be amazing at the start. Yuri going to get focused down as well, taken down, but Soldier in behind, going to take down Jarrett and Saya. Aaron as well onto Kresnik and Tsukima. 4 kills between the two as Boar's 10k gets him that kill. It's a sack on the cart right now for MM, but on the high ground, Muma finds one. He's going to find two. He has to get bombed in the counter. Another rocket onto ODB, going to get taken out in trade, but there's so many kills and so much damage for both teams. Sticky's going to go onto the cart as we are at a soft reset here with 35 seconds left. It's going to have to be another cart flood fight.
This is going to be it. This is going to be the final push right here. Demento's getting himself into position for a stab. He actually didn't get spotted out there. Boris trying to find a snipe maybe onto Yuri. Yuri needs to get himself into position to defend this card. 20.
Once his team is ready, he's going to drop down, but it gets arrowed, so no pick for them to work with. KND now going to have to flood. It's 15 seconds left.
And they're going to need everything. Jarrett trying to walk through his main area. Kresnik, Fist of Steel, fully healed up. He's going to get pushed back right away. Jarrett needs to get a lot of damage onto the card. Kresnik, so much on. Here comes in the big drop in from the Pyro. So much people on the card.
Tsukima air
trying to
blast.
roll him back. It's not just
3
that.
seconds. 3 seconds. Do they have it in time? And KND take the win.
Oh, 1 second left on the clock. Absolutely insane there in the final push. Momentum. Mori had to be kicking themselves if they just held on 1 more second at any point here. Their aggressive hold style just work against them. They constantly wanted to hold on to points. They never backed up, and it works against them in the end. 1 second on the clock. KND takes this, and what truly should have been Momentum Warriors round.
My reputation is saved.
In
In all seriousness,
they deserve that so much. Momentum Mori, they just, I feel like just,
okay. Memento Mori deserved that round against any other team. What KND did there with their snowball through second, through third, through fourth, all of that, they proved that anything that MM can do, KND can do better.
But honestly,
it was the same style. It was the same style of push that happened. Both teams did the exact same thing basically. KND just did it 1 second faster.
But the thing is that like, I think Memento Mori played really well off of their like, there wasn't a lot KND could do in terms of like changing their play style. Like Memento Mori just played really well. They had Ubered stayers. They played really aggressively. You know, I never really felt like KND made like a horribly severe play in terms of like their positioning on defense. You're playing with a 3-minute time left in the clock. You are in a horrible straits on the third point. Like, you know it's going to be hard. You know you're in equal Ubers, right? Like, why are you kind of trying to come out for like an awkward third play with like players not up when you can go get a full level 3 Sentry Gun up, play Uber add equal Ubers on the fourth point, get fully set up, have everybody there, right? Like, to me, that makes 100% more sense than trying to go for an equal Uber fight down players on a defense on the third point, which is a shit point to defend from. Like, I just, I know what you're saying, but I don't feel like it was KND. I truly believe that was Memento Mori's loss. KND played well, but that was Memento Mori's loss. That KND like did very well, but Memento Mori lost it in my opinion. Than KND
there's
won
obviously
it.
angles on both sides. Both teams should look at this and say there's things we could have done better, right? Like, you mentioned KND didn't make a big defensive error. I would disagree. On second, they lost their flank early, and that forced their combo to drop down early, and that's basically what started the snowball. Because you have to make a big error on defense to start one of these snowballs somewhere along the line. Whether that's giving up your initial defense and not being able to stabilize, or trying to recontest a point like MM did that isn't recontestable, or they didn't have the advantage of recontesting. Both these teams made errors on their defenses, and both of them played very well on offense to take advantage of them and get the push back in time. So no one played perfect. Obviously, KND still have weaknesses. They're not the end-all be-all best team of the season, otherwise we wouldn't be playing. But they just do phenomenally well to make up for their deficit, and both teams have something to be proud of, but it hurts a lot more for MM, like you're saying. They had that round in their mind. They're going to look back at that round and say, we could have done better, like they should, like any good team or aspiring team should do, and they're going to be hurting for that match point potentially at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, but in potential win, I mean, it's not that just they lost that round, but they put up a 5-minute time against K&D, right? And they didn't that first round, like obviously their offense like wasn't up to snuff, but they still had like a solid defense, like 8 minutes. Like they were not bad. Like there's bad points in the game, but overall they were not bad. They were in there, and like I could have seen that game potentially going their way, especially if we got to that third round. Like again, like K&D came out, they played aggressively when they needed to. Memento Mori made missteps, but obviously the one thing that we haven't talked about here in the post game is Boar. Like Boar is one of the main reasons that K&D even had a chance there. He had, of the 14 kills that he had in that game, 10 of them came in that round, and I don't know if he died a single time, or maybe like one time in that round. He had a crazy kill streak going on, and that was one of the huge reasons that K&D was able to also sustain, because Boar was continually getting picks like second after, like just moment after moment, and obviously he had a huge part in the success of K&D in that round there.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to feel Fallen as well, because it feels like every time I'm casting a Fallen loss, he does his absolute best and tries to give his team a clutch win. And he's such a good player in the clutch. It's just sometimes things don't work out for him, and it feels like it's more often than not at this point. But we can take another look at the stats. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Like, I'll get these out of my face. Like, stats are not what we want to look at in this match. It's all about how the teams actually played in their in-game. In Ubers, there was a lot of things to look at for both the teams, as well as how they played their macro games. So it's back to the, I don't say back to the drawing board, but there's so much to look into for both these teams in the future. And I was really rough on MM in that like middle bit. I mentioned it as well. I do think they're a very good team. They're obviously one of the better teams, one of the best teams we have in Highlander. But if they can get that snowball that we saw them do on offense, if they can make that into a consistent thing, or if they can find ways to not allow it nearly as much as Candy want to take it from them, this team is very easily able to contest them in playoffs. So it's going to be a long time until then. They start out 1-2, 1-2 record with the 2 losses against their 2 biggest competitions. So while on the outside it looks really rough for MM, you're starting out bottom of the table after 3 weeks, bottom half of the table rather. But they're looking up. They have a lot of easier matches later, and we should see them in playoffs definitely. 3rd seed probably, maybe 4th if things go really south. But yeah, that's for another time.
Well, it was definitely a great. I mean, it seems like every match they come in is just like a phenomenal match. But we still have a phenomenal match coming up here later tonight. In about 20 minutes, it'll be Froyotech versus, I believe, Wonderwall, Wonder something. Wonderwall, there you go. I know my team names. I run this league. I don't actually run this league. But it is definitely something to look forward to. But really, this one, and this was actually the same thing that happened last round, right? I came in a Vigil, and like, it looked kind of like, I was like, okay. It's kind of a close game, but a little bit one-sided, some mistakes made. And the second round is like incredibly fast, and then somehow like the team loses. And both times it's actually Memento Mori who did that. So, yeah. They definitely need to. I hope they look back at this, but I truly like, in particular, like I'll just speak from like an engineer perspective. That's the one thing I'll say to Aaron is I 100% do not think he should have came out on 3rd at all for a second. I think that was a huge misplay. He should have gone to he should have gone to 4th. I mean, I might be wrong here. Maybe the meta of engineer is like,
he should have at least waited for his team, because he went out alone and died.
But I just still, it's like you can go, because like an engineer with like a shitty, like a gun in the middle of building is probably not going to defend a point. Like maybe if it comes up, it can do a little bit of damage, but it's rarely going to turn the tide in like a fight like that. Especially when they're kind of down, and again, like everything was against them. They're down Uber advantage and all different stuff. Versus like he can go build a level 2, level 3, and then like, if they retake 3rd, they can go move it back to 3rd, right? But worst case scenario, he's got his team covered. He's got a dispenser up. He's got a sentry gun up, and his team's ready to fight on 4th right away. I really feel for Memento Mori, because I just, they played their hearts out. They played, they did what they could. But definitely, I hope they look back at this STV and they use it to learn from. Because I definitely think there is some key mistakes that they made to go from. But I'm honestly, makes me really excited, because I want to see these teams in playoffs. Like I want to see them. I want to see these teams meet up again and see what they can do in a best of 3. Because I do think that Memento Mori could potentially beat K&D. Like I definitely think that's a possibility. Can they do it in, BO3? That's up to what they can do in the, how much do they practice? How much do they push themselves in the season? As you said, this is one of the most competitive seasons yet. So like this should be the chip on their shoulder. The first 3 weeks need to be the chip on their shoulder, and they need to play every week that much harder because there's zero reason they can't be crowned the champions this season, but it's up to what they put into the game. And I'm very excited to see what they can do with that.
Yep. And real quick, just to end us off here, is that like you mentioned, they play their hearts out. They're very good, and they definitely have the potential to be the best team in this league. They need to work and they need to improve at it, and they will be doing just that. I know how hard they do work. And unfortunately for the viewers, we probably will not see them on cast for this season, if not maybe once against a team, because they've already played all their tough opponents, so we've cast them twice already. So if we don't see them again until playoffs, or if we only see them once, it's going to be kind of a time skip for us looking at them, for all you viewers. So we'll have to see if they can come out a lot stronger than they were in this match, and that's for them to work on in the meantime. Candy have started out 3-0. They're gonna be loving it. They have a hard match against Cuties upcoming. So other than that, they definitely have what it takes to end first seed right now. With MM kind of out of their way for first seed, it's just about that match in Cuties. So with that out of the way, we can now look forward to ending this cast. It wasn't nearly as long as it probably could have been because it's Swiftwater, but we did start very late, and the halftime pause is also very long.
Yes, it is. So we're going to take a break here. We're going to be coming back with Froytech versus Wonderwall here for the Sixes Invite top level gameplay. So make sure you tune in to that. That'll be Jarrett, who actually just played a game here tonight for K&D alongside Eckstein. So make sure you stick around here, guys. Stay tuned here for the Invite match coming up here in about 15 minutes.